Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So, today we're going to dive right into a seriously fascinating allegory called The Last Parable of the Machine by Max and Claude. It's this incredibly rich thought experiment about a machine-like society where literally every single person is assigned one predetermined purpose for their entire life. Let's jump right in and challenge how we think about social structures, freedom, and, the hidden constraints in our own lives.
Right off the bat, I want you to consider a riddle. Think about this. What locks the key that opens all doors? Keep that tucked away in the back of your mind. We're going to anchor this entire explainer around this brilliant metaphor of locks, keys, and systemic control. Because it makes you wonder, how often are the tools given to us for our liberation actually the very things keeping us trapped?
To really unpack this, we got to look at the foundational architecture of control in this story. It's called the key system. In the town of Keyhaven, these mysterious figures known as the Locksmiths implemented this whole framework. They hand out these beautiful symbolic keys that define a citizen's single life purpose. But here is the catch. It's not to help them achieve their dreams. Actually, scratch that. It's explicitly to prevent them from ever imagining alternatives. It's kind of like the strict corporate ladders, or even those algorithmic echo chambers we find ourselves locked into today.
Section 1. The illusion of perfect order.
So let's look at how this society actually functions. Keyhaven has this wild architectural paradox. The town is visually stunning, operating on perfect, totally unchallenged efficiency. Everyone proudly wears their golden key, like maybe a wheat sheaf if you're a baker, or an open book if you're a teacher. But here is the massive contradiction. There are 0 physical doors in Keyhaven. Think about that. Everyone has a key, but there are no physical locks anywhere. And this all builds into their core social mechanic, distribution day. Basically, when kids reach what they call the age of comprehension, they line up at this window, a mechanical hand emerges, places a golden key right in their palm, and in exactly 37 seconds, their entire life's function is determined. Boom, set in stone. Our protagonist, a young girl named Iris, goes through this very ceremony, but her experience ends up being entirely different.
Section 2. Unlocking the hidden truth.
Okay, so when Iris reaches into that dark window, she encounters a massive systemic glitch. While literally everyone else gets a normal golden key, Iris receives a skeleton key. It's this tool of impossible geometry that folds back on itself. When she holds it, it acts almost like an X-ray, revealing the architecture of locking itself. It absolutely exposes the invisible psychological barriers keeping Keyhaven citizens trapped. They don't need physical doors, because the keys have already locked their minds.
Using this totally unique skeleton key, Iris discovers a hidden library. And wow, does it reveal the depth of the deception. The official history claims the Locksmiths arrived to save a chaotic, wandering world. But the authentic history, it shows the town used to be called Makerstown, a fluid, highly collaborative community. The Locksmiths didn't cure chaos, they manufactured it through artificial scarcity just to make people dependent on them.
Section 3. The architecture of control.
Now you're probably wondering, how on earth do you keep an entire population in the dark for 17 generations? Well, the Locksmiths use the Watchers. These are citizens whose assigned keys are actually shaped like eyes. They don't engage in the community at all. They just stand at the edges, turning their heads in these synchronized sweeps. They're unknowingly functioning as a distributed intelligence network, essentially Keyhaven's societal immune cells, monitoring behavioral patterns to suppress any hint of dissent.
And if you do step out of line, the system responds with this chilling sterility through their correction protocols. These are enforced by high-ranking officials like Senior Assessor Vault. First up is realignment, where your memory is adjusted so you literally forget your rebellion. If that fails, it escalates to reassignment, you're relocated, given a new key, and your identity is erased. And the final protocol? Retirement. You simply disappear. Total societal erasure. No way back.
But the absolute most insidious psychological walk is the false binary they present to captured dissenters. Option A. Join a secret underground group called the Keepers. You get to feel like a rebel, sure, but you're actually living in a domesticated quarantine as harmless archivists. Option B. Enter the unorganized territories outside Keyhaven and face probable death in the chaos. Assessor Vault totally expects Iris to choose one of these carefully curated paths.
Section 4. Forging a third option. But Iris, she completely refuses the trap. She realizes this profound truth. Option 3 is to change the rules. Choosing between the system's strict order or exile's total chaos assumes the system itself can't be changed.
So, during her interrogation, Iris takes her worn, light-filled skeleton key and touches it directly to Assessor Vault's dark suppression key. And the craziest part? The keys don't cancel each other out. No, they merge into what's called the synthesis key. It's this cool, living master tool. Instead of just revealing locks or hiding them, this new tool actually teaches people how to build structures that support authentic choice. It empowers citizens to forge their own dynamic, evolving purposes from within, rather than just passively accepting assigned ones.
Section 5. The next human evolution. So, what actually happens to a newly awakened society? Well, the transformation happens through emergent evolution, following a really clear life cycle. It starts with a personal catalyst. That's the synthesis key unlocking an internal compass. Then it scales to bottom-up support, like this food forest project led by unconditioned 8-year-olds where everyone cross-collaborates. Finally, it expands to networked communities that share their discoveries with each other, instead of forcing a rigid model on anyone.
This really reveals the strategic genius of Iris's whole movement. It's about becoming irresistible. Rather than going to war with the central authority and fighting directly, they focus entirely on demonstrating abundance. They make their new way of living so vibrant and collaborative that they naturally attract participation. They make the old system's countermeasures completely irrelevant by simply outperforming it in human joy. I mean, that is a wildly powerful lesson for challenging any entrenched system today.
Jump forward 10 years later, and Iris is reflecting on this whole journey. She notes, the progression from external control to authentic choice is just a step in an ongoing evolution. The story actually ends with a 7-year-old girl named River pointing out that even Iris's beautiful synthesis system still relies on the concept of keys and locks, even if they're dynamic ones now. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative thought from young River. What if we lived in ways that didn't require doors at all? It's a reminder that every systemic resolution we make just opens the door to deeper questions. Can human society transcend the framework of access, permission, and control entirely? Can we operate purely on authentic intention? It's a massive, beautiful question to leave you with today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning the locks, keep examining the keys you've been handed, and I'll see you next time.